Well, I got the last thing for my Hay Empire. I'll record it more when I get home. Hopefully this tire lets us go. This is a Case 555, also known as a PT10. I forgot to grab my grease, and this bearing is starting to feel a little warm here, so we got to be careful, but I can still touch it. But the other one on the other side is nice and cool. This is all there compared to my 479, minus just missing a little bit of sheet metal and a hydraulic cylinder, but I think that we can steal from the 479, so I'm not that worried about it. But here we are, Case 555. Sickle bar isn't rotted out, which is awesome. Just looks well loved. Anyways, let's get this thing home. Oh, and I tried to make my own fancy receiver, and that completely bent, so yeah. Hauling it in the middle, but this hull's a lot straighter than the 479 anyways, so I prefer it like this. So here she is, finally home. The bearings on the passenger side here didn't get that hot, but on the driver's side, really wish I brought grease. It's fine, but it definitely was getting warmer and I'd like it too, but we're back. I'm surprised this tire held up. I mean, look how cracked that is. Wow. But I'll have the neighbor hook me up with a new tire. He's a tire dealer. We also got, oh, they're already going to lay eggs in the bed. We do it every time. We also got a new belt with it that's perfectly fine, and that's one of the main things that go bad on these, so that's in the bed of the truck. And the cylinder, like I said, we're probably just going to nab from the New Holland, so pretty much have a full Haybine here. The skis aren't rotted out, which is unfortunately the New Holland is. The sickles are all in there, and it looks like they're already converted to bolts, which is awesome, because I know these originally had rivets, and you had to get the higher sickle guards in order to clearance bolts, and it looks like it's already been done, so that's great. Looks like all the teeth are in there. Now let's look underneath the bar. Yeah, exactly. This is pretty awesome. Underneath the bar, it isn't rotted out at all. I don't see any holes behind it. It's not rotted out. Yeah, I mean, it looks rough, but this thing's there. It's honest. Unfortunately, the tin's a little sacked out on it, but and it's missing the hood over there, but you know, beggars can't be choosers, and I got this thing for a really good deal, so I'm just grateful. A lot less complicated looking than the New Holland too. Nothing against New Holland, it's just this one happens to be nicer, so it's pretty sick. Towed home totally fine. Yeah, unfortunately my hitch idea didn't really work, but that's okay. I can convert that into a bench for the racetrack. Yeah, here's the belt right here. Completely fine. A-okay. And yeah, so let's get this disconnected from the truck, start working on it, and then test it on out. And another really cool thing about these is that the PTO shaft is hidden inside of the actual, well, you know, drawbar, whatever the heck this is called itself. just gonna leave it hooked up to the Alice here. I don't need to take it off yet, but I just feel it's safer being also supported by this while I'm dinking around with this. Can't be too safe. And as y'all can tell, I didn't really move it that far, but I wanted to keep it within close proximity. Let's see if we can get these cylinders on. That's about 1 inch flat. Let's see if that works on the New Holland over here. New Holland cylinder. Yeah, that's about the same size. Perfect. And I assume you're the same size as well. Yeah, 1 inch. Run back over to the case. Oh, I forgot. These are different. This has a plate. Alrighty, I got it. It's just a piece of metal that slides in and out. And I can already tell that cylinder should totally work. And I'll even take the hydraulic lines from it too and hope they're long enough. The only problem with the New Holland lines is that they're pretty sacked on out. There's a bunch of fluid here too, and I'm thinking that might be leaking from one of these lines. But you know, that's okay. We're just not going to worry about that. So yeah, awesome. I think this cylinder should definitely have enough travel. And in fact, it's a slightly different color. Kind of like a case orange. Let's see. This flavor of orange. This flavor of orange. Interesting. I thought I'd give you guys a little brief synopsis on the history of this thing too. So it was less than 5 years ago when he used this. He didn't stop using this when he stopped using the baler, because I remember I told you guys the baler was, he stopped using that about 5 years ago, and then he used this to cut bales for, but he must have used this to cut other stuff too. So I don't know how long it's been sitting, but definitely a couple years it's been sitting outside. He bought it at an auction in Racine, Minnesota, and I asked him how long ago that was, and he couldn't even remember. So this thing's definitely been around the block, but it's all there. The only thing that's kind of goofy on it is these are windrow setter laters, 9000s. So he's got this one just held open with a bungee cord. It's missing the bolt here, and over here it's still got the bolt. But I want as wide as windrows as possible because I don't have a hay tedder, so I want it to dry out, and that's what the rake's for anyways. But yeah, let's get that cylinder on now. Darn, your lines up perfectly already. Man, I think this... what are the chances this came off of another identical Haybine? We like that. Good for the skin, hydrates you. But, actually use that. Lube this up. Butter. Then I'll just get a generic pin for this guy up here. Life is good. Alrighty, so this is actually just like a parking pin. So obviously when this is fully extended and up, then you could slide that in between there and whatnot. So this is like traveled mode, and I think this is on the ground mode. We'll figure it out. Next up here is the PTO shaft. You could tell it's been out for a while, so let's clean off all this barn find moss on it, and then we'll slide it in. And I'm gonna start greasing everything up on this guy too, and checking the oil inside the gearboxes here, and then we'll actually see if we can get her turning on over. There we are. Doesn't have to be perfect, just smooth enough. Sure enough too, go to the store, forgot to get gloves, so we're going in raw again. Gonna grease this up. There is a grease zerk for it to grease up the shaft while it's in there. but unfortunately it's busted, so I'm just gonna do this manually here. Well, I can already tell I won't be able to use this today. I could probably spin it up, but this hydraulic line here is too short, so I'm guessing this length here is a lot longer on these cases than on the New Hollands, and you could just tell by looking at it. So I will need to get a different hydraulic line, but those are easy to get, so I'm not that worried about it. So now I'm just going to go around the whole implement and grease things, check oil, just go through it, cross my T's, dot my I's, and then we'll hook it up to the PTO on either the Alice Chalmers here or the 504, and then just see if it spins over and whatnot. It should. I don't see why it wouldn't. It worked when parked, but I will say she's a lock stiff, so I want to make sure she's nice and greased up before I bust her on loose. Oh yeah, she was dry. Definitely glad we're putting some good grease in the old girl. Well guys, I got her greased up, but she's still really tight for some reason. I can't get it to keep spinning, and I inspected everything and it looks fine. I think maybe the bars just rusted into place a little bit, so I'm gonna do something a little controversial here. I'm gonna hook it up to the PTO of the Alice here, and it's not that powerful, so one of the reasons I want to do it with the Alice, and I'm just gonna see if I can break it loose a little bit and see if I'll help it kind of work those cobwebs out. Got to be pretty careful here though. Well, with the increaser installed, she can't quite fit on. So, time to get the 504 and just blow it up. Either a U-joint's going, a shear bolt, or whatnot. But anyways, one more thing I found wrong with this unit is it is missing one of the skis for some reason. That one's on over there, but it's loose, so that kind of sucks, but it'll still work. And in fact, I'm probably just going to steal a ski off the New Holland. Who would have thought, me stealing parts from the New Holland? I made sure to set everything on top of the Haybine too, so when it rattles to life, it'll then crimp my WD-40 grease gun, seltzer, and caliper. Oh, and in case you couldn't tell, I got hooked up to the 504 because the drawbar on this has enough give, enough length for me to actually get this PTO on. Keep the RPM nice and low so we don't break anything, I hope. Here she is, munching away. The thing I like about these two is it hides the PTO shaft for the most part. Just gonna let her keep doing her thing for a bit, and then I'm gonna rev it up to actual operating RPM. I don't see anything given. I do need to put motor oil on that chain still. Rollers are rolling. Let's check on the belt assembly over here. Wobble boxes are wobbling. I couldn't find any grease zerks for these, which kind of sucks, but I think Case is just a big fan of sealed bearings. I mean, there's grease zerks on pivot points, but not on any of the pulleys, which I was kind of surprised, so oh well. I do need to still check the oil in the gearbox here. The gentleman told me, well, I'll put gear oil in there, and I was looking underneath there, and the shaft was kind of wet, so I think this does leak. I drove at 30 miles on that. All right, let's give her the enchilada. All right, up here on the 504. I guess I didn't look up the actual PTO speed these are rated for, but I assume it's 540. The 504 at 2,000 RPM, right where it needs to be. Man, it's kind of scary though. And there we have it, guys. And that is just the brief synopsis on the Case 555 Haybine. It works, but it needs a little bit of help. I will install this new little... Oh, okay, that is rosebush. Raspberries. That felt nice. But I will install a little ski under here because it is missing it. You can actually see the mount for it there. I'll do that off camera. But yeah, expect us to be making hay really soon here. Probably sooner than later. All my equipment works, supposedly. We're just ready to go. I could do hay without the ski, but I don't want to do it that way. I'd prefer to have the ski, especially considering I'm mowing my neighbor's ditches and I don't want to rip them up at all. Drop in the comments below if you guys sent it without the skis. I don't know. Do you set the height on these through the hydraulic cylinder, or do you actually set it on the skis? See, you can see how experienced I am at some of this stuff. I know a lot, and then I don't know a lot. And man, that belt is just holding on. You can actually see through it, but that's okay. You gave us a replacement. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Drop a comment below. Did I miss a Zerk on this maybe? Are there in any tricky spots? What should I look for on these? I did make sure that spring in the back right was still good. And is there anything I'm missing or doing wrong? Any just helpful tips in general for hay binding? I would really appreciate it. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching the video, and you guys have a great rest of your day. Please drop a like, comment, subscribe for more content like this. I'm a small channel, still growing, and everything helps. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Oh, and here's one more question. How do you shift these into transport mode? We had some mixed luck with the blocks earlier. It's just a pain. So if you guys have any tricks below, let me know. I'm gonna try and put it in reverse here, pull that pin back, and see if it'll pivot for a guy. Oh yeah. There we go. It's because I started recording at work. But let me know other tricks in the comments below. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.